Today we're going to talk about the drawing medium of markers and how to frame and fill. Sometimes when we're using markers, we try to color quickly in all different directions to fill the space. This isn't as effective because we tend to miss spaces and the texture can be distracting. Now we're going to try the frame and fill technique. We're going to frame the shape by doing an inline on the edge of the whole shape. And then I want you to think about filling like one of those really satisfying looking lawns where they make really straight lines. You wouldn't cut the grass in all different crazy directions. You'd go in nice rows that are careful and right together so there's no spaces. If you have a very big lawn, you would maybe break it down into smaller spaces, fill that space, then go to the next space and fill that. So for us in class, we are coloring these big coloring sheets. I want you to think about, is this space big? Do I need to break it down? How do I frame and fill it? The next thing I want to talk about is being creative with how you fill. So for our purposes, we can use lines and shapes to fill a space. So I made different little rectangles. I'm still framing and filling them using that technique so that my coloring and my texture isn't distracting from the image itself. And I'm creating something interesting so that way my shape is still a rectangle, but now it has an interesting design in it, only using shapes and lines. Oh, and color, of course. Because in class we are dealing with coloring sheets, so the image is already drawn, what we don't want to see is a creation of new things. So this is supposed to be a rectangle and that is it. So we're not changing that to make it a DS. We're also not going to be drawing outside of the images because everything is already composed. So we are just using shapes and lines to make designs, not really recognizable things. Here's an example of some good framing and filling. You can see the direction of the marker and how there's no spaces. Here's another example up here. The space was really big with this blue, so they changed directions after they frame and filled. Here's a great example of how you can use lines, shapes, and colors to make already existing images more interesting. These fifth graders did a great job emphasizing these letters and numbers to make this pop out. This last example is in our room, and I point to it a lot because there are lots of examples of how you can divide the space, add designs in different colors, but still keep the main idea just being the letter.